I want to start out with my op-ed today that I published over at HartmannReport.com just a few hours ago. It's titled, "Will Comrade DeSantis Succeed in Destroying the Constitution?" So Ron DeSantis thinks he's got a threefer, right? He gets to trash Disney, play chief culture warrior in an election year, and even raise taxes on blue counties, Osceola County, Orange County, the two counties where Disney has most of their property, the two counties that are going to see a $10, $20, $30 million increase in their taxes, in their property taxes next year if DeSantis's bill doesn't get repealed. They voted like over 60% for Biden in the last election. So DeSantis, helping your friends, punishing your enemies. It's the way that, two-bit dictators have been working for a long, long time, and DeSantis is no exception to that. And that is the one of the Constitution. It is increasingly obvious to me that not just Ron DeSantis, but Republicans in general, but DeSantis has put himself at the head of the wedge here. He's leading the movement because he wants to be president in 2024, 2025. He wants to be elected in 2024. And the way that they are going about doing this is by destroying our Constitution. Now, why would they want to destroy the Constitution? Because they want America to be a fundamentally different country. America, when it was founded 240 plus years ago, America was the first nation in 3,000 years, and arguably the first nation ever. Because I don't think you could even make this claim about Athens, about Greece, 3,000 years ago. It was the first nation that was based on an idea rather than on territory or genetics or both. Most nations are based on territory and genetics. We're Swedes because our ancestors were Swedes. We look like Swedes. We live in Sweden, that kind of thing, right? That has been the basis of every nation in history until us. And yeah, I get it. It was, rich white guys, or actually a lot of them were, most of them were not rich, but it was a bunch of white men who stole a bunch of land from Native Americans and brought over enslaved people from Africa. I get all that. And there was this idea that people can govern themselves without leadership that is hereditary or that speaks on behalf of God, which was a revolutionary idea. No literate society had done this in 3,000 years since Greece. And we can do that with an operating system, as it were, a constitution that puts the rule of law above things like blood and soil was Hitler's phrase. The where you are and who you are. And that was a huge big deal. And understanding, as the founders and framers did, the founders of this country and the framers of the Constitution, who were, by and large, two different groups of people. There was a generational split there between, 1776 declaring the war, 1789 signing the Constitution. It was almost 20 years, or it was a while, shall we say. But they realized that if you're going to have a nation that's based on an idea rather than on genetics or land, then that idea has to be enshrined in a way that it is sacrosanct, that it is above everything else, the idea. And the idea is embedded in the Constitution. As I pointed out, it was imperfectly acted out back in the day, but we're trying to get there. And this is why in Article 2, for example, the Constitution specifically says that when the president becomes president, he must swear an oath. He must say, "I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will do to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States." Now, notice, it doesn't require him to protect the country. It doesn't require him to protect the citizens of the country. The Constitution doesn't even require the president to protect the symbols of the country, like the flag or the Capitol building. It only requires him to protect, preserve, and defend the Constitution. Because the founders knew that if you're going to have a country based on an idea, the idea has to be sacrosanct. Every time that idea collides with local, temporary, or political considerations, it must prevail. And without the idea, the country is dead. Without the Constitution, we go back to being like we were before 1789, 13 warring colonies, basically a bunch of local provinces. This is also why Article 6 says that everybody, all federal elected officials, all state and federal appointed officials, also have to swear to support this Constitution. It's right there in Article 6. It has to be put above your religion. In fact, Article 6 even says that. No religious test. Now, I learned this in fourth grade civics. I get it that, Reagan destroyed our education system. Most people don't even know this stuff anymore. It's disgusted. And so what we see with DeSantis, here you've got Disney coming out and saying, we don't agree with this law. And DeSantis says, oh, you spoke up against me, so I'm going to punish you. Now, that's unconstitutional. The First Amendment, yes, I don't like the fact that, the Supreme Court has given First Amendment protections to corporations, but it's there. And so the First Amendment, under the current regime, as it were, says that whether it's a person or a corporation, they're both persons, they have First Amendment rights both to free speech and a First Amendment right to petition the government for redress of grievances. In other words, to say, we don't like this law. And DeSantis is punishing Disney for this. That is nakedly unconstitutional. And it's not just an assault on Disney. It's an assault on our constitutional system. Now, why would DeSantis want to do that? Because he wants to be president. He doesn't just want to be president. Trump was our first president who tried to destroy American democracy and align this country with dictatorships like Saudi Arabia and Russia. Trump tried to do that. He tried to pull us out of NATO. He tried to get us out of all these multilateral. Basically, he tried to destroy our form of government. DeSantis wants to do the same, as far as I can tell. And he came right out and said it, by the way. When DeSantis signed this legislation, he says, so you're a corporation based in Burbank, California, and you're going to marshal your economic might to attack the parents of my state? We view that as a provocation. We're going to fight back against that. Like Don Corleone or Vladimir Putin. And, of course, who's going to be hurt by this? Well, these two counties that voted 60.9% Democrats to 37.8% Republicans. They're going to see their taxes go up. This is the kind of corruption that our great experiment, our Constitution, was designed to prevent, to prevail against. These naked appeals to racism, bigotry, and hate are as destructive to a nation founded on an idea as is DeSantis's defiance of our Constitution. We'll be back.